It's now my pleasure to introduce to you our commencement speaker, Ms. Kim Folsom, who is also the chair for the Board of Trustees for City University of Seattle. Ms. Folsom is an accomplished serial tech entrepreneur who has leveraged her passion to inspire, advocate for, and expand the next generation of small business owners. She has combined market forces to launch and grow a social impact investment platform that is addressing the gap in funding and growth resources for women and minority-based firms on a national level. Her unique approach and progress has attracted support and partnerships from the top U.S. foundations and philanthropies. Today, Kim will share with us her story and her intriguing entrepreneurial journey towards launching the social justice impact platform, Founders First. Kim has been incredible counsel to me as interim president. We meet every other week, sometimes weekly, and she's fantastic. She has a great story. Please join me in welcoming our 2022 commencement speaker, Kim Folsom.
Thank you, President Byron, Chancellor Cunningham, Board of Trustees, faculty, administration, and City of University of Seattle students. Before I share with you my story today, I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate the class of 2022. I'm honored to serve as your chair of Board of Trustees for City University of Seattle that is committed to supporting an inclusive economy. For those of you meeting me for the first time, I'm Kim Folsom. My day job is the founder, chairperson, and CEO of Founders First Capital Partners. We are the largest private provider of funding to diverse-led Main Street businesses and the only Black and women-led revenue-based investment platform. Founders First is my 7th venture, and life has been an incredible journey of entrepreneurship. From mentee to mentor, I've been through a lot. 6 accelerators, launched 7 ventures, raised over 7 rounds of Series A funding, and successfully exited 3 companies. But today, I come to share with you about the dichotomy between our dreams and realities. We all have the ability to dream, hope, and wish for achieving our goals. But right now, I'd like to discuss with you the unanticipated realities that we face as we pursue our dreams. In life, you learn to persist and push through. As adults, parents, and busy professionals, you've already come across a great deal of unanticipated realities. You've all persisted and pushed through and juggling classes, work, family issues to transform your career, but your road to success will have many more of these obstacles and bright spots. At least that's how my entrepreneurial journey went. Like many of you graduating today, I got married early and had children. I had these because that was expected of my family. My father, a proud old school career Navy engineer and officer, he had expectations. He expected I'd be successful, I'd become an engineer, I'd get married, I'd help my husband with his career, and I raised good kids. I did what he expected, but I had dreams to achieve more than that. Like the thousands of young engineers in the 80s, I dreamed of being a big tech founders, like Seattle's own Bill Gates. As most of you know, he started and grew Microsoft by democratizing the power of the computer. That's the kind of company I wanted to lead. I figured I could do the same, but for ATMs, because back then, that was the exciting technology of my day. After earning my engineering degree, I started my career at a major technology company. I thought maybe there I'd eventually advance my career and maybe one day run that company. Unfortunately, that's not how things worked out. After a few years, some of my male friends that I went to college with started getting promoted to leadership roles. And I'd ask, how'd you do that? And the company leadership would simply say, you're doing well where you are. But it didn't take long for me to realize that I was up against a bigger societal and economic problem. The truth was, in the 80s, there were very few women in leadership roles in major corporations. Remember, this was before ESG, DEI was a thing. This was before affirmative action. This was before, well, Oprah. At the time, I didn't quite understand why company leadership was so elusive for me. I began jumping from company to company in pursuit of leadership opportunities, only to be told regularly, no. So, after 8 years, I figured out I'd have to persist and push through and build and lead my own company. Sometimes to persist and push through means you need to push right out the door. But first, I realized I needed to go to business school. But I couldn't wait until graduation to pursue my dreams. So naturally, 3 months into my first semester, during business school, as a mom, working full-time, I started my first company. Piece of cake, right? The company I started, Seminar Source, was Netflix-like, a video-on-demand learning platform providing certified continuing education to medical doctors, because you never want to see a doctor that hasn't had current training. Like startup entrepreneurs, I needed funding to grow my company and hire people. But unlike my classmates, I didn't have wealthy family members or other benefactors to write a check to start my company. So my first source of capital came from my 401k account. My second source of capital came from a loan pledged against my property. And as the bank required, I had to put everything on the line. Nevertheless, I persisted and I pushed through, and I did more. I didn't raise any further capital until my company was generating millions in revenue and profitable. When it was time to seek investors, I raised over $20 million in funding. Eventually, I sold Seminar Source to a public traded company. By the way, it took me 7 years to graduate with my MBA degree, while simultaneously growing my business and raising my family. So for those of you out there that took a while to graduate today, don't feel bad. You probably beat me. After the success of Seminar Source, I dreamed of being hired as a tech CEO at somebody else's company. I was excited about my future. I thought, well, I'd become like my role model, Bill Gates. But as I was working on the sale of my company, another reality set in. As I was talking to some tech leaders and investors about opportunities to run another tech company, it was obvious they were looking for somebody else. I realized then that if I want to be a CEO, I had to build another company. So, again, I persisted and I pushed through. And I built 5 companies. Because sometimes, when you can't get the job you want, you just got to make it for yourself. Eventually, I did have a chance to meet Oprah Winfrey, thanks to being a part of this board of trustees. During her 2016 visit, she shared with me, and I'm going to share with you in my best Oprah Winfrey voice, nothing is wasted. That means everything that happens to you is meant to make you who you are. This is true. I grew Founders First to be a social justice impact investment platform that provides diverse leader companies with confidence, funding, and mentorship I never had. Like my first company, which was profitable before we obtained investment, Founders First invests in companies that are already generating revenues. Founders First is innovating the capital model. And of the more than 500 companies that have gone through our platform, we've helped them create 494 new full-time jobs, retain 464 full-time jobs, and over 70% of our companies are growing over 25% year over year. We are changing the reality for diverse-led business owners who lack the relationships, capital, and know-how to succeed. Throughout life, I realize many of us face realities that makes it harder to achieve our dreams. In my life, my goal is to break down that destructive dichotomy. Race, gender, sexual orientation, things we're born with, things we don't choose, should not and cannot dictate our ability to achieve our dreams. I refuse to let that continue. Fueled by my passion, today Founders First is the largest private provider of growth funding for diverse-led businesses and the only Black and woman-led platform with over $150 million in committed capital. But that $150 million did not come easy. I thought the same people who funded my tech companies would also be interested in funding Founders First. But I found out quickly they were not. Like my many other companies, I had to bootstrap Founders First too. It's hard to understand why more investors are not embracing funding diverse-led businesses. 30 years into my entrepreneurial journey, there's still the startling realities for minority-owned businesses that they face. According to Crunchbase, Black, Latinx, and women-led ventures as a group received less than 2% of the record-breaking $330 billion in venture capital in the US in 2021. These are startling statistics that illuminate the harsh realities for us all. But we must persist and push forward to build a more inclusive economy. When we include and uplift the underrepresented amongst us, we build a better economy that's for everyone, and society is better for it. Graduates, true success takes persistence and the will to push through. So the next time you're up against your next challenge, please remember this day and celebrate that you persisted and pushed through. If you're told you can't, persist and push through. If you're feeling defeated, persist and push through. If you're tired, persist and push through. You can and you will be successful if you just do what? I can't hear you. One more time. Graduates of 2022, celebrate and leverage your accomplishment today. But remember to persist and push through the roadblocks and barriers coming your way. Everything you've learned, everything you've gone through, it's all part of your journey to the success of your future. If you can remember this, you will not fail. Thank you.